Hello friends, and welcome to CJoy Yoga. So since the beginning of the year, we have been moving through the 5 elements, and we are on our 3rd one, which is fire. So fire is located in your solar plexus area, and we're just going to use that idea of fire in our asana practice. So hopefully most of you all know by now, if not all of you all know, that's one of the things I really try to bring to my teaching, is that yoga itself is so individualized, and should be. We're all our own individual with whatever's going on in that day, that moment of time, and we need different things usually, right? And then in regards to that, when we're talking about our postural practice, our asana, it's not just this is the pose and this is what it looks like and this is the alignment and this is the different things. Yes, there are certain particular things we want to do to keep our body safe, and at the same time, you know, the poses, they morph, they change depending on what it is we're trying to do. So, you know, one day I might have you play more with a flowing kind of water element last week, right? One day we might play with the asana and really focus on the grounding and the stillness and the heavy earth quality. And today we're going to see what it feels like to play with our breath and our physical postural practice when we bring fire into it. So fire is known for its transformation, and along with that, one of the biggest transformations that we do in our physical body is digestion. And that's the digestion of food, but you know, that goes beyond that. It's also our thoughts, our feelings and experiences, and transforming ideas so that they can become understanding. Some of the qualities are hot, sharp, upward moving. Fire is spreading. So think about a literal fire. I'm just pointing out things about a literal fire, yeah? And so we're going to bring some of that stuff into our practice. So we're actually going to start in child's pose. Anyone with sensitive knees, please, please feel free to pad your knees. And if it's okay to bring the hips back towards the heels, do. If it needs to stay higher for your hips, especially since this is, you know, first thing into the practice, you could also just sit on your buttocks if that's better for you. And I'm going to leave my head lifted a little bit. Now, if you feel like that helps you lengthen all sides of your neck equally, you could do that as well, or you could bring your forehead to the ground. So already, right, listen to all the choices I'm giving you. What one is the right one for you at this moment? And just taking a couple of moments, I'd like you to bring your awareness into the solar plexus. And if that word is foreign to you, on the front side of the body, I would talk about it being just a little bit above your belly button, right? So if you had your hand just a little bit above your belly button, that would be your solar plexus. On the back side of the body, you can kind of think about that being by your kidney band. And I want you to try to breathe into that area just below the diaphragm and try to expand that area on the inhales. And when you exhale, you're not intentionally pulling in, but, you know, let that exhalation bring everything back to that midpoint, we'll call it. So again, on the inhale, you expand, and you're not forcing that to happen. And on the exhale, you deflate. Let's do one more of those. Inhale, expand through that solar plexus region. And exhale, deflate. Now let's stretch our arms out. Straighten the arms out. Plant your palms down. And as you plant your palms down, let your forearms start to lift up. And let's just start to build a really light fire, right? A little bit of warmth in our arms and our shoulders. As we push forward, we're going to let our hips push back, right? So there's the intention of pushing forward, trying to move the hips back further, lengthening the spine. Take another breath from there. So option 1, you stay right here. Option 2 would be to come up into downward facing dog. Now in this first one, please feel free to pedal the legs or move or just keep the knees a little bent. This is going to be moving into some things rather quickly, right? So listen to your body, and if it's not right for you, then you just stay down or maybe half downward dog. And come to stillness at some point in time and just start to work the posture. You do not need movement to work a downward dog, right? Often we talk about, oh, move any way you want in the first one, but
You don't have to. And breathing. And then come on down to child's pose again, or your variation thereof. And you can let the forearms come down for just a few moments. Again, I'm going to prop my head up a little bit for vocal quality. And just notice if there's any heat that started to build. It's not going to be a super intense heat. Chances are good anyway. And if it is already a super intense heat, well, that tells you a little something. So you might watch how much heat you build. Just like a fire, say a fire that happened in the forest. If it's just burning a little bit of underbrush, it can be really healthy and purifying, right? But if it is got rain coming down on it, then it's not going to do anything, and it's not going to clear away that bits and pieces of the forest floor for purification. And at the same time, if that fire is too big, it's just going to take out all the trees and wipe everything out. So we want to be able to have that in between, that Goldilocks, I like to think about it. Stretch your arms out, plant the palms down. Either staying right here, or coming up to half downward dog, or come up to downward dog. Now on this version, again, feel free to bend the knees the whole time. We're really building a little more fire in the upper body than the lower body right now. If it's okay with your body, right, next variation would be that you're going to bend your elbows, but I want you to try to bend your elbows back so they stay in line with your shoulders. So they're going to want to go out to the sides of your mat. Try not to go out to the sides of the mat so we get a little more in your triceps. And bend the elbows, I don't know, about halfway towards the ground, if even. And we're just pausing. We're working with stillness. So even though my elbows are bent, I'm still pushing my hips up and back, lengthening my spine, and probably feeling just a little more fire starting to come into my upper body. I mean, I can tell you that I don't know. You might notice if you are. Take another inhale. And exhale, come down, child's pose for just about 3 breaths. Feel free to rest everything. We're coming back up into the arms. And so here's where I want you to tune into that spreading quality of the fire. Right? When you come down, notice if that fire, that warmth starts to spread from the triceps, say, right, if that's where you were feeling it, into other areas of the body. And can you encourage it to? Stretch those arms out. Plant those palms down, come up into downward facing dog or your variation thereof, right? And again, you can either just bend the elbows and hover, or this time you might bring your forearms all the way down to the ground into what we call dolphin often, right? And you can interlace your hands. And then instead of letting the shoulders move forward towards the hand side of the mat, push your forearms down, push your elbows down, and reach those buttocks bones up and back, and really pull your upper back in towards the chest, chest towards the toes. My rib flares, be careful about rib flaring here. Just be cautious, right? We're not trying to open that part of the spine. We're trying to open the upper back and the shoulders a little more. And take 2 more breaths here, really rooting down and feeling that fire. You got those other variations if this feels like too much. Bring the knees down. Toes together, all the usual suspects. Rest your forearms and just take a moment. And again, just notice if you can identify, right, that spreading quality and maybe even encourage it. So maybe it's starting to spread from wherever we started in the very first active child's pose, I could say, right, because we've been building since then. So from there, we're going to come back up into our downward dog. We're not bringing the forearms down this time. Go ahead and come on up and just take a moment there. And then we're going to use this to transition. Inhale the right leg up into the air behind you and pull the belly in, coming towards a plank, right? We're not going to step the foot all the way forward this first round. Once you get into that plank, pull your belly up into cow. Really try to round the spine and pull your knee as close up to your chest as you can, your heel as close to your buttocks as you can, and push that back. 3-legged dog. Set that down. Bring the left leg up. Right? And again, come forward into plankish, about halfway there, and then pull the nose and the knee together, right? And then I'm pushing down into the earth. That's our earth element. But then I'm pulling that solar plexus up, 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 pulling my knee up to my chest, my heel up to my buttocks. And then I'm going to send that all the way back and set that down. For just 2 breaths, just notice if you're starting to build fire in your abdominal area. Inhale the right leg up into the air. Use those same actions to try to float, step that foot forward between the hands. right? Now you could bring the left knee down. That is definitely a variation and might be the one for you if you don't need to build a lot of extra fire today. Although if you don't need to build a lot of fire, I wouldn't do the fire practice on that day, right? Save it for the time it's appropriate. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put your hands on your hips and reach the chest forward and the left heel back. Keep that right hip in and back, right? So this is one option. You could also extend the arms in front of you and lengthen, reaching the fingers forward and that left heel back, right hip in and back. Bringing the hands down, step back to downward facing dog. Breathe. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you and exhale, bring that forward between the hands. Right knee can totally come down. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And lengthening the body. First stage for all of us is to put our hands on our hips. Pull your hips back as you reach your chest forward. Push the right heel back and lengthen that spine as much as you can. Find that solar plexus gently pulling up to the spine so you're not flaring the ribs. Maybe the arms extend forward with this. Maybe they don't. You could always leave them on the hips. Get as long as you possibly can. Keep the solar plexus gently, gently pulling up to the spine. Bring the hands down. Step back to downward dog. And breathe. Now from there, we're going to go through that push-up series. People call it a vinyasa, but I don't care for that name because vinyasa just simply means one breath, one, right? We're working with the breath on movement. So inhale, reach the chest forward. Exhale, knees are going to come down on this first round. Come through your push-up. Inhale, low cobra, first round, meaning there will be more. And exhale back. You can come through a half plank or a full plank to make your way back all the way into downward dog. Adding on. Inhale the right leg into the air behind you. Float it forward between the hands. Get that long, long body. Hands on hips or arms extend out in front of you. And get as long as you can. I often call this jackknife, right? Keep that low, or not the low belly, sorry, the solar plexus today, toning up. And then bend the left knee to bring the body up. So hopefully with the bending of the knee, we kept the pelvis, right? We've got the earth, we got the water, now we're in fire. Maybe that left leg extends just a little bit. And breathing from there. Interlace your hands and point the index fingers up and maybe point the index fingers over, lean over to the right. Right hand could come on the thigh if that helps you be steady with your balance. Inhale back up. And exhale, bring the hands down, stepping back to downward facing dog. We'll do that push-up series, but we'll do it after this next side. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you and float it forward between the hands. Try to use muscular action, not momentum. And inhale, reach the arms forward or hands on hips, either one. Bend the right knee and come on up. Keep the knee bent until you find all that wonderfulness, right? And then start to play with that right heel, maybe pushing back, straightening the leg any amount. Most all you all know my right psoas is so tight, I never get it straightened all the way unless I come substantially out of my bend of my front leg. Interlace, index fingers are going to point up and over towards the left. Left hand could come on the thigh if that is better for your balance. Coming back up, exhaling the hands down, stepping back. This time you're going to step back to a plank. You could stay in downward dog or child's pose, right? Exhale, coming through your push-up, knees could totally come down. Inhale, low cobras on the table. If you feel like you're ready for that upward dog, please don't push your body into something it's not ready for. Exhale back. The thing about fire, again, I said it once, but I'll say it again. You don't want excess fire. And a lot of the people who are drawn to my teaching are very eager beavers, type A personalities. I could potentially say sometimes we move aggressively. I put myself in that same school with you, so I don't mean that as a cut, a dig, right? But we have to be careful we're not excessive. Inhale. On your exhale, come up on your tippy toes, bend your knees. You're going to step your right foot all the way forward, and then you're going to step your left foot. If you need more than one step, not a big deal. Inhale the chest forward. Exhale, fold, and we're going to sit right down in a chair pose. Inhale, sit your buttocks down. Right? Now again, you can have the same options. You could put your hands on your hips and use it to lengthen the spine and find that toning of the solar plexus. You could reach your arms out in front of you. Either one is beautiful.
Take another breath from there, and then inhale, push the heels to come up. Exhale, bring the arms down. And I actually want to strip down a layer, but my microphone is on this layer, so I'm going to keep my shirt on. Whew. Anybody building fire? Can you feel it spreading through the body, and maybe it's now starting to move throughout instead of just the shoulders, just the triceps, just the abdomen? Right? So let's kind of continue building this fire and breathing. So we're going to add a little bit of that sharp quality that is fire, right? And all I mean by that is inhale instead of on the breath like we often do. Not the whole series, but for this part. Inhale, bring the arms up, right? So in case that didn't make sense, bring the arms down and let's move with that together. Inhale, exhale. Now we're back to the flowing. Inhale, chest forward. It can be a little sharper today. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step left foot back, step right foot back. Here's another of those vinyasas. Go to downward dog if you're like, no way, Jose. Exhale, maybe you don't come all the way to your belly. And you flip onto your feet. And exhale back, downward facing dog. And of course, you could still be bringing knees down for all transitions, all that stuff, right? So again, that sharp quality. Inhale the right leg up. Don't lift the hip. Even add that breath. You hear I'm getting sharp with it. Exhale, that foot forward. Now we're going to add on. It's what we did a little bit ago, but I want to bring in what's called Kapalabhati, or skull shining breath. And hopefully you know that. We've played with that a couple times recently. Either hands on the hips or arms reach out, and it's that exhale. You pull your diaphragm up, and it's a forceful exhale, forcing the breath out. Right? The inhale is soft and natural. If it makes you dizzy, don't do it. High blood pressure, low blood pressure, glaucoma, don't do it. And bring the hands down. Step back to downward dog. Inhale, sharp rise. Left foot, I should say. Sorry, exhale, sharp forward. Now from there, go ahead and come up, hands on the hips, or leave your hands on the ground, or reach the arms forward and Kapalabhati. And bring the hands down and step back, downward dog. Stay here or inhale forward, plank. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale into your upper back bend. Exhale back, downward dog. Child's pose any time you feel like you're building too much heat. It doesn't mean you're a wuss. It means you're listening to your body. And at this point, this juncture in time, you don't need that extra heat, and that is okay. I can't gauge that for you. Inhale. On your exhale, come up on your tippy toes, bend your knees, look forward. Step your right foot all the way forward. Step your left foot all the way forward. Inhale, reaching the chest forward. We're sitting in a chair again, just to give you a warning. Exhale, folding in. And inhale, sit into your version of chair pose. Right? And we're going to add that Kapalabhati, that skull shining. Again, it's a forceful exhale from my solar plexus, my diaphragm pushing up. Inhale up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Pause. If you find yourself getting dizzy, maybe that's not the breath to add in this time. Slow the breath down if it started to get rapid. Just because we're building up fire does not mean we want a rapid breath, right? We want to be able to build fire without agitating or going into our system that sends out adrenaline and cortisol and all of these other things as little as possible, right? That's actually one of my beef with a lot of modern workouts, is all through our day, our body's pumping out adrenaline to try to get all these things done and do these things. And that's not a terrible thing, but if we have no time where we're not pumping out adrenaline, right? And then we've got that 1 hour block of time when we run to the gym and we're working out like crazy and we just have more adrenaline going through our entire body. When does your body get a break from the adrenaline, right? Breathe. Balance, all about balance, all over the board, right? And then from there, we're going to do one more chair pose where we add in that Kapalabhati, and then we'll come down to our buttocks, right? So inhale and reach those arms out and up, or hands on hips, either variation, sitting in chair pose. And again, it's a forceful exhale. Go ahead and go into it, right? The inhale just naturally happens. You're not forcing the inhale to happen. Try to release and just let the diaphragm, let the air come in. And fold forward. Full inhale, full exhale. Go ahead and sit the buttocks down and come all the way down to your butt. One more little piece of fire from a seated position. Legs out wide. How wide? What feels good? Sitting on something, maybe, right? What's right for your body today? Just because you're working with fire doesn't mean suddenly you have to look like someone on the yoga journal, right? You can still have bent knees and all the bits and pieces, and you'll find your fire, I promise. Inhale and exhale. We're going to turn to the right. And inhale forward. We're not dropping hands down or reaching for feet or anything. Exhale, turn to the left. If it's better to do goalpost arms, inhale forward, or have the arms lower, please do. Exhale, we're using them as extra little bits of weight right now. Inhale back. Exhale, turn to the left. Inhale, neutral. Now this time we'll add in, exhale, turn with the core first, and then go ahead and reach across with the left hand. Right arm can reach back or on the ground. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, so try and decipher, right? Exhale, start by turning, right, actively, and then reach across and twist. Inhale, up. Exhale, use your core initially, and then twist. Inhale, up. Exhale, use your core, that place, that solar plexus, right? That's what we're getting into right now. Inhale. And go ahead and bring those hands down. You're going to bring your legs out in front of you. I'm going to turn this way. My profile, I think, will help you more. Bring your hands onto the backs of the knees and get nice and tall. So again, that solar plexus, it's above my belly button and below my xiphoid process, right there on both sides of the body. Maybe put your hands there for just a moment if it doesn't hurt a shoulder to reach behind you. And just know that's the part of the body I'm talking about today, right? Think of it as a big golden sun, just like the sun is the energy generator for the earth, right? This is where we generate digestion, where we generate our energy for our body. So get nice and tall, and inhale, hands stay on the thighs for now. Exhale, you're going to go ahead and you're going to pull that solar plexus back, round that mid back behind you. And then inhale, pull the solar plexus, the back of the solar plexus in to find the neutral mid back. And then exhale, pull back. So think cat-cow, it's similar. We're just not going into quite as much of an upper back bend. Add breath, exhale back. Inhale back to neutral. Now the next time you exhale back, maybe you reach your arms forward and maybe leave them up. Inhale up. Now this time, keep the neutral spine, the natural curved spine, and lean back. So I'm not rounding anymore, right? Inhale up and exhale, lean back. Hands could still be on thighs, by the way. Inhale up. And exhale again. I'm not rounding the spine for this variation. It's not wrong, just not today, not on this one. Now we're going to add that sharp quality. We're going to the right. One more. Both sides. And we get to lay down on our back. Maybe using a little bit of that core to come all the way down to your back. She says, all the air gets expelled out as she falls onto the earth. And you can extend the legs, or you can have the feet on the ground with the knees bent. Actually, let's do just a quick windshield wiper. TV arms out and just let those legs sway back and forth. Feet can stay more hip distance. You can walk them out wider. Feel which one feels, try them and see which one feels good in your body right now. And the next time when you finish your next one, we'll say, come back to neutral. Either feet wide, knees lean in, or legs extend out. Find that beautiful open position for your collarbone. If it helps you, or if you'd like to, bring your hand or hands back and put them towards that solar plexus area above the belly button, beneath the xiphoid process, the bottom of the sternum. Just taking a few moments. And for my folks interested in the chakras, of course, when we work with the elements, it's very, very similar, right? There is some difference between the two of them, it's true, but the element of the solar plexus is fire, and the color is yellow, that golden sun yellow. This is our place where we have our personal power, self-confidence, willpower. And something in my own life I've been working a lot with lately, instead of, power, I never know how I feel about that word, and I know so many people who abuse it, and so I'm always trying to decide if I want to have power. And then, I don't know, about a year ago, I read a great little article that talked about, rather than being powerful, being empowered. That I would like to be. So maybe while your hands are lying on this center, or your mind, your awareness is in this center, right? This place of transformation where we come to deeper understanding. Maybe you can envision yourself as being empowered. Two more breaths about. And then if you want to wiggle fingers or toes or stretch the arms overhead, maybe rolling over to one side and pushing the floor away. And come on up to that upright position, your favorite upright position. And when I say favorite, I mean your bodies, right? I would love to sit cross-legged. Actually, I would love to be able to sit in Padmasana, in lotus. Oh, it looks so elegant and so, right? And it's, yoga teachers can do that and blah, 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 blah. But my body doesn't like that. So here I am. I'm becoming empowered, right? I'm not forcing my body into something, using that fire, that pitta energy to try to push it into something it doesn't want to do. And yes, for anyone who's starting to look at that Ayurvedic stuff, pitta is fire and water, but its main element is fire. So a lot of what we're doing today is also pitta. So knowing how you feel after doing that practice, then we start to figure out when this type of work would be good for us. For me personally, during this season, this winter, late winter season, I start to get lethargic, and I start to get depressed, and I start to get really heavy, both literally and figuratively, right? And so this is when I need to call in my fire. I do not need this in summer. I have so much fire that it imbalances me like crazy. Bring your hands together in front of your chest, inhale. Exhale, bow your head. Taking a moment of gratitude for both the sun that supplies the earth, her energy, and we all benefit from that, but also taking a moment and being grateful for our transformative fire inside our solar plexus, right? And the fact that it allows us to digest and eliminate. Namaste. And again, thinking of it broader than just the digestion of our food, thinking of it as being our thoughts, our feelings, and emotions, and transforming those ideas and turning them into a deep understanding. Have such a wonderful day, friends.